Life is a journey filled with experiences that shapes us, challenges, and ultimately help us grow. And today I'm turning 28, so I decided to share with you 28 hard-earned life lessons to inspire you and empower you on your own journey. Lesson number 1, no one has everything figured out. No one really knows what they want to be when they grow up, even grown-ups. When we're young, we tend to think that adults have it all figured out. But that's just not the case, even for the most successful people. Trust me, I spent so much time around incredibly successful people from around the world, and none of them have it all figured out. So don't think that you need to have it all figured out. You'll always have the opportunity to reinvent yourself and change directions. I did it myself so many times already that it's even hard to get my head around it sometimes. So regardless of how old you are, don't worry about having it all figured out, because no one really does. And the best you can do is to take action to learn and pivot along the way. Lesson number 2, choose your heart. Life is made of struggles, and either way, you will go through hardships in life. It's just inevitable. But luckily, you get to choose your heart. And that's something that I heard first from Sahil Bloom. And it really changed the way that I viewed the hard things that I had to do. Because it's hard to go to the gym every day, but it's also hard to have a healthy body. It's hard to work for long hours, but it's also hard to struggle to pay the bills. So instead of fighting against it and trying to live an easy life, it's easier to just accept hardships as a part of life and choose to do something hard that aligns with what you want your life to be all about. Lesson number 3, seeing problems as opportunities. If you're able to reframe your problems as growth opportunities, you'll always find a silver lining in everything you do and become a more positive and happier person as a result. When you start seeing problems as opportunities, you will see how much agency you have over your own outcomes in life. Lesson number 4, you have no idea what you're truly capable of until you push yourself. Most of my most prized accomplishments in life would have probably never happened if I hadn't dared to go for it before I was ready. So when in doubt, just do it, because you're capable of doing so much more than you imagine. Lesson number 5, every single person you know is fighting a battle that you'll never know about. It's easy to judge people. It's hardwired on us to do it as a survival mechanism and to help us to make decisions faster. But you'll never know what someone is really going through. So when in doubt, just be kind. Lesson number 6, focus on asking the right questions instead of finding the right answers. The quality of our lives is based on the quality of the questions that we ask ourselves, and not the quality of the answers. So focus on asking better questions to help your brain to process your thoughts and perspectives to come up with better answers. A great way to do so is through journaling with prompts that helps you to reflect on what you have been doing so far and what you can do better. Lesson number 7, focus on habits rather than motivation. While motivation is essential for setting goals and initiating change, it often falters over time, making it unreliable for long-term success. And unlike motivation, which can fluctuate a lot, habits are consistent and reliable, and it helps to sustain us even when our motivation is low. And by prioritizing habits over motivation, you can create a systematic approach to life, focusing on incremental steps and continuous improvement to reach your goals by setting better defaults to prevent you from leaning into your bad habits in a moment of weakness. Lesson number 8, the quality of your life depends on the quality of your relationships. Meaningful relationships are essential for our mental health, our physical health, and overall well-being. So make the time for the people who are important to you every single week. Lesson number 9, you're not everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. Not everyone is gonna like you, and that's okay. We all have different interests, different personalities, and when you're feeling down about it or you're feeling a little bit rejected, you can think that even your favorite ice cream flavor doesn't make everyone happy. So don't worry about making everyone like you, and instead, just focus on trying to find your tribe. Lesson number 10, it's all about how well you spend your time. Out of all the things that we cannot control in life, we all have the exact same hours every day, which means that highly successful people are just better at allocating their time towards their goals. So if you want to become more successful in life, the first thing that you should think of is how you're spending your time and how could you spend your time more effectively towards your goals. Lesson 11, nothing good happens inside your comfort zone. It's easy to get stuck inside our comfort zones. It's called a comfort zone for a reason after all. But it's a dangerous place to be, because if it is comfortable, that means that you're not learning nor growing from it. So whenever you start feeling too comfortable, actively look for ways to challenge yourself, and to push you outside of your comfort zone so you can learn more and achieve more. Lesson number 12, you're going to change, and that's okay. We tend to want to hang on to the version of ourselves that we used to be, and it can feel really scary to let go of who we are and to grow and evolve into someone new. But if we want to open up ourselves to the possibility of growth and progress, then we need to be able to let go of the previous versions of ourselves and be ready to change before we see any progress. Because imagine if we all just stayed the same. For me, that's a much scarier option. So embrace the change instead of limiting yourself to who you were while growing up. Because you're going to change, and that's okay. Lesson number 13. Your friends are going to change, and that's okay. We always love that concept of having a lifelong friend. Someone who has known you since you were a baby and just grew up together and have been tied to the hip ever since. But life isn't always that way. And as we grow old, we start to change in ways that might no longer fit in the friendships that we created when we were growing up. And that's okay. You'll make new friends that are better aligned with the season of life that you're living right now. Lesson 14. Consuming is not the same thing as doing. 99% of us have a problem of overthinking rather than underthinking. We tend to learn as much as we can before we even take the first step to put what we learn into action. And this phenomenon is called analysis paralysis. But don't worry, because we have all been guilty of that at one point or another. We tend to believe that consuming more content is creating progress towards our goals, when that's rarely the case. If you're consuming a lot of content, but you're not doing anything with it, then you're just wasting your time passively learning things that you'll never put into action. The truth is that we live in a world where it's impossible to have perfect information before we take any action. So next time you see yourself stuck trying to overanalyze something, just stop and try to make the best decision you can with the information you have available at the time. Because while we're busy overthinking, life is just passing us by. And so are the opportunities of what we could have done if we had just taken action. So instead of reading one more book, what about you put into action what you learned from the book that you already read? Lesson 15, focus on the things that you can control. Most things that happens to us are outside of our control. And there's just nothing that we can do to change that. So stop stressing over what you cannot change and focus on things that are inside your control. Because even the worst thing that happens to us are only as bad as we make them out to be. So instead of seeing problems, focus on the solutions for the things that are under your control. Lesson 16, not all advice is made equal, so be selective with whom you listen to. Unless the person giving you the advice is someone that you genuinely look up to, has accomplished what you want to accomplish, and has a vested interest in seeing you succeed, you should probably not listen to their advice. Because most people are just projecting their own beliefs and experiences onto you. So don't let that be the thing that holds you back. Lesson 17. No one cares about you as much as you do, and that's a good thing. I used to worry a lot about what other people thought about me. And that was a heavy weight stopping me from taking the steps towards my big hairy goals. But what I didn't realize is that most people are just too self-absorbed into their own problems to even worry about you. And the ones that do worry about you simply have nothing better to do in their lives. So instead of worrying about what anyone else thinks about you, focus on you, on your own growth, and on your own paths to success. Because no one cares about you as much as you do, and it's a good thing. Lesson 18. You need to believe in yourself before anyone else do. When I was younger, I used to think that all my insecurities would go away as soon as I achieved my next big goal. But that was never the case. Being insecure is a natural human condition. So whenever you start feeling like you're not enough, just be kind to yourself, because no one is perfect. So many times in my life, I was told that I was not good enough and that I was never gonna make it. And for the longest time, those ideas created and reinforced behaviors that held me back. But you need to believe in yourself before anyone else do. And once you start believing in yourself, other people will too. Lesson number 19. Success is not linear. You can work on something for years and not see any results until you do. So remember that success is not linear. So instead of getting fixated on results, define a goal that is worthwhile and just put in the work. The little things that you do today will dictate who you'll become tomorrow. So when in doubt, just ask yourself, if I continue to relive the same day for the next 5 years, where would I be? And course correct accordingly to focus on the things that compound you towards your goals in a positive way. Lesson number 20. Failure is the only path to success. Failure is part of learning, But it gets old to be bumping your head against the wall all the time. But if you want to win more, you also need to fail more, because failure is a prerequisite for any great success. So you just need to welcome it as part of the process and do it more often. Many of us think that failure is just a really bad thing that should be avoided at all costs. But if you don't fail, you'll never be able to learn your way to success. So fail fast and fail often. But here's a little caveat, because it doesn't necessarily have to be your own failure. In fact, the smartest way to learn something is to learn from someone that has been there, done that, failed, and shared what they learned from it, so you can learn from their mistakes and not repeat the same mistakes again. Learning from others can exponentially fast-track your learning curve with mentors or even books, because you can always find a mentor on a good book. Lesson 21. EQ is as important as IQ. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of academic and intellectual achievements. And while a high IQ is certainly valuable, it's crucial to recognize the importance of emotional intelligence, because IQ might help you to succeed in school, but EQ will help you to succeed in life. Lesson 22. Get big, hairy, audacious goals for yourself. One of the most important lessons that I wish I had learned earlier is the importance of setting ambitious, stretch goals for yourself, because those big, hairy, audacious goals can seem daunting at first, but they actually have the potential to push you beyond your comfort zone and propel you towards remarkable achievements that you wouldn't even think it was possible. Because even when you don't fully achieve your big, hairy, audacious goal, the process of working towards it will help you to develop new skills, gain valuable experience, and fail forward as long as you learn from your mistakes and setbacks. Lesson 23. Stop comparing yourself to anyone except from who you were yesterday. It's easy to fall into the trap of constantly comparing ourselves to our peers, social media influencers, or the idealized versions of success that we see around us. This habit can be detrimental to our self-esteem and personal growth. Instead, focus on comparing yourself to the person you were yesterday and ask yourself, am I making progress? Am I becoming a better version of myself? And by shifting your mindset in this way, you can celebrate your own unique journey and avoid the pitfalls of unhealthy comparison. Because at the end of the day, the only person that you have to live up to is yourself. Lesson 24. Don't skip on the commitments you made to yourself. It's much easier to keep commitments you made to others than those you made to yourself. But the most important commitment you'll ever make in life is with yourself. And when you keep your word to yourself, you will strengthen your self-esteem and confidence in your own abilities to follow through your words with actions. And by keeping the promises you make to yourself, you will build a strong foundation of self-trust and integrity to reinforce the belief that you're reliable and capable of achieving your goals. So stop skipping the commitments you made to yourself and stop snoozing on your life. Lesson number 25. Listen more than you talk. If you're talking, you're not listening. And if you're not listening, you're not learning. Most people merely talk at each other, thinking about what to say and just waiting for the other person to stop so they can start speaking again. But active listening isn't just a communication skill. It's a mindset that can transform how you navigate your professional and personal relationships. So next time you're in a conversation, resist the urge to jump with your own thoughts and focus on just listening. You will see how much you can learn and become a more interesting person by just becoming more interested in what others have to say. Lesson number 26. Success is a relative term. As kids, we tend to have a very clear vision of what success means, like going to university, getting that job, and so on and so forth. But the older you get, the more you realize that there's no set definition of what success looks like, and that success is not an objective measure of your accomplishments, but rather something relative from person to person. Nowadays, so many people are unhappy because they pursue success on other people's terms. But success looks different for everyone. Each person have their own priorities and their own goals that makes them happy. And we have to accept that success looks different to everyone. So instead of feeling pressure to conform to what other people refer to as success, we need to have the courage to define success on our own terms and stick with it, regardless of what other people say or think. Lesson 27. You can't change someone who doesn't want to be changed. How many times have you found yourself in situations where you desperately try to change someone's behavior or perspective? Whether it's a friend, a partner, or a family member, the truth remains the same. Genuine change must come from within, no matter how hard you try. You will never change someone's behavior unless they want to. And you'll only annoy them by preaching what you think that the person needs to do, even if it's for their own good, like quit smoking. people change only when they want to. So instead of thinking of what others could do better, unless it's a welcomed advice in the sense that someone actually solicited your opinion about something, focus on what you can control about yourself and on the things that you can do to become a better person instead of trying to change people that ultimately do not want to be changed. And lesson 28, you are a reflection of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. So choose it carefully. Our social circles have a significant influence on our beliefs, on our behaviors, and ultimately on our destinies. So if you surround yourself with negativity, you'll find it sweeping into your own life and bringing you down. At the end of the day, you become the result of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. So choose it carefully. So choose to surround yourself with individuals who inspire you and challenge you, and see how being in the company of greatness elevate your own aspirations and achievements. I hope that these learnings help you to leap forward and inspire you to take actions to live a better life. My goal with this channel is to share with you some practical tips and frameworks to help you to elevate your life through education. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this kind of content, please subscribe to this channel and share this video with a friend who might benefit from it. And let me know in the comments what have been the most important lessons that you learned in this video and how would you incorporate it in your life. And if you have any lessons that were not included in this video, let me know in the comments because your ideas might help someone else too. And if you'd like to supercharge your learning and your earning potential with a degree from a top university, check out some resources I made available to you on the video description. Don't forget that the more you learn, the more you can achieve. So stay inspired, stay motivated, and I'll see you in my next video.